up, y'all? Just doing a boxing cardio session. But y'all welcome to put in the comments who y'all think will win versus this Ryan versus Devin Haney fight. Versus this Rolly and Devin Haney fight. I'll be doing a video sometimes later, so just be looking out for that. And if you enjoy my videos, you've been watching for a while, just please consider subscribing. So let's get into it. Y'all, I'm trying to get back in shape. I want to fight again. You know, it's been a while since I've been in the ring, but you know, I'm just getting back into it. So please excuse my my rustiness. You know, it's been a while. Hopefully y'all watching me doing this, you know, I'm just, like I said, I'm just getting back into it. You know, hopefully it motivates y'all to get back in it. If y'all thinking about boxing, thinking about joining a local boxing gym, if y'all been contemplating on doing it, just do it. And if you think you're old, you're not too old. Whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, you can always start from something. If that's your dream to, you know, get into the sport of boxing. So let me know in the comments, y'all in live, who y'all think will win out of Devin Haney and Rolly Romero. And y'all, I want to let y'all know that nobody is wrong. If you choose Devin, if you choose Rolly, none of y'all is wrong in the comments. I will do a video later. We're gonna dissect this fight, see who wins this fight. You know, if y'all betting money on this fight, we try to make sure that we dissect these fights correctly. I know a lot of people do bet on the sport of boxing. You know, sometimes I put my money in there. I'm not trying to make the wrong predictions. So we're gonna really get into this fight. If y'all want to win some money, y'all thinking about betting on, you know, some fights and stuff. And if y'all just want to see if you think your favorite fighter will win, you know, subscribe to my channel. And we're gonna all break down these fights, you know, together. Honestly, y'all, a lot of people think that Rolly is a bad fighter. And though he do got some things that he needs to fix, y'all gotta realize that Rolly has signed with Floyd Mayweather. You know, at one point, I don't know if he still is, but you gotta realize in order to get signed with Floyd, Floyd has to see that you worth something. And Rolly, you know, though he started late, he still was able to beat someone like Ryan Garcia. And people say that, you know, Ryan was, you know, not in shape for that fight and had stuff on his mind. But, you know, a win is a win. He still beat him, even at his worst. You know, it just proves the point that, you know, if you really want it, you can get in, you can train, you know, but you have to train hard. I can promise y'all, the older you are, the harder it will be to get into it, you know? It's easier to train a child because a child, they're quick on learning things. But as for an adult, you know, they got some, especially if you never did it before, you know, they got some things that would take longer for you to catch on to than if you was to train a child whose brain is developing. But as far as Rolly and, you know, Devin Haney, you know, it's hard to say. You know, Devin has a great jab, good footwork, but he don't have power like that. He might have sneaky power, but it's not enough to put you down. Rolly Romero do have some thudding power. It may not be knockout power, but, you know, he is able to, you know, throw his shots correctly. So it all just depends on who will make a mistake, you know, in the fight, you know, between rounds. It all depends on who will make a mistake first. I feel like Devin Haney drops his hands a lot. He have fixed it, but it's still a thing that he needs to correct. You know, as far as his footwork, something that he needs to correct. His foot coming off the ground, that takes away from his power shots. You know, his cross, got that foot coming off the ground like this. That's not how you get power. Devin Haney had to make sure he plant that foot to get maximum power. Right here. See, you can pick it up if you want. That foot has to be down. Like I said, yo, I'm just getting back into shape. I want to fight this year, so, you know, I'm trying to get in shape. It's going to take a lot. I didn't do this in a while, but I will be fighting. I will be posting my fights, you know, so if you want to see me post my fights and you want to be with me with this journey, you know, please consider subscribing, you know. You know, and you might like what you see. You might learn a few things, you know, as far as boxing, these fighters, you know, just subscribe if you enjoy the channel. Y'all, I gotta be like 190 at the most. Pretty big right now. I've never been this big before with boxing. I'm trying to drop down at least 20, 30 pounds. If I could fight at in the 160s, close to that. You know, I feel like that'll be my best weight without losing too much strength. You know, I'm thinking about fighting right there, 160, between 160. You know, it all depends. Maybe 170 might be a little too big, but if I could drop down to 160, I'll stay there. Yeah, man, it's you know, usually when you first start off, make that much money, you know, but eventually if you know, you build a following, you keep winning, eventually people start tuning in. You know, the more people that like you, subscribe, the more people, you know, the more money that these promoters are willing to pay. It's not about, you know, it is about who's good and who's not, but you got to realize it's about who's popular also. You know, you're a good boxer, but you don't really talk. You don't really, you know, say much to the people. You know, a lot of people won't be able to vibe with that. You got to learn how to, you know, if you're going to do this sport, you got to be entertainer, and you got to be able to entertain. Silency won't get you too many places, you know. Y'all, it's been a while. Like I said, I'm not used to moving at this weight. You know, I usually When I was training, I was fighting at a lower weight, but I will drop weight eventually. I'm about 190 right now, but I should be able to drop like 30 pounds. And once my conditioning is in place and I'm sparring people and I'm doing pretty good, I feel comfortable, you know, I'll get back into, you know, my competitions. Eventually, y'all, I'm gonna start doing live streams, answering questions. You know, I want to do like those little phone calls. You know, we can all, like, all my subscribers be able to talk about boxing. You know, tell me who y'all think are winning these fights. You know, have like little live watch parties, live fight watch parties. You know, we're gonna be doing all that, as well as learning about boxing. You know, boxing is a sport where you never stop learning. You know, we're gonna keep learning, keep practicing these our craft, learning everything that we need to learn. You know, and you know, we're gonna have live this this lifestyle, this fitness lifestyle, this boxing lifestyle. Y'all, like I said, I'm getting ready to start my boxing journey again. The reason why I had stopped for a year is I had a very bad injury. Preferred my leg. I had a big bad injury on my leg, my hamstring. It's almost recovered back to health. You know, like I said, it still got a lot of things that I have to brush up back on. You know, boxing is a sport that you have to practice every day. If you miss one day, you know, it's hard to get back into what you need to do. You know, boxing is repetitious. You know, if you're not practicing repetition, you know, once you get tired, you're gonna go back to what you know. And you don't want to go back to what you know when a guy is punching back at you, you know, in a fight. When y'all go to the gym, nothing crazy. Y'all just practice y'all footwork, practice y'all jab. That's the most important thing. Practice your turns. Practice staying tight. Practice staying tight. You don't want to open up. You don't want to open up to practice staying tight. See, you want to practice staying tight and release when your body gets there. Whenever you turn into your shots, you don't want to open up with these shots because that's what gets you countered. Right here, only sometimes you don't want to open up. You want to turn your body, and as soon as you get in front of the opponent, as soon as your body turns, you release it. Right here, turn. Don't get over that foot. Right here, turn and release. Right here, bang, bang, right there. No, none of this. You do this, you get countered. Good.